Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Today is July 15th, 2021, and I am bringing you the July edition of Chatting with Chantel. So, in case you did not know, July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month I wanted to talk about the importance of grief therapy. Okay. The reason why I want to talk about this is because, of course, if you follow me or if you know me personally, you know that I have been grieving since probably the last week of June as I prepare for the transition of my grandmother, who we had her funeral on yesterday, and today is her 97th birthday. So many things have taken place from the end of June up until yesterday, and on today we will be celebrating her 97th birthday. So if you were following me or if you know me, you have been a part of my grieving publicly on social media, and I did it in what was in a healthy and appropriate way, because when it comes to grief, there are anywhere between 5 to 7 or 7 to 10 stages, but I believe in the school of thought where there are 5 stages of grief, and those 5 stages are anger, depression, denial, bargaining, and acceptance. And so they vary, and people do not grieve the same, and people do not express their grief the same, and they're not supposed to. So grief comes in cycles, waves, phases, however you want to label it. But I did that for a reason, because it was a teaching moment for myself and hopefully a teaching moment for others. Because as I stated, although I have been trained in many areas about grief and mental health and mental wellness, it still was a blow to me personally and emotionally to witness someone very, very dear to me, such as my grandmother, to slowly be transitioning in the manner that she was. Of course, she was 96 years old and she did have failing health, but this woman was very dear to me and everyone in my family. So it was jarring to see her declining as she did. So I did what most people do, but I did it in a more, what I felt was a more healthy and appropriate way, which was in more expressive words and of love and in pictures. So I felt that was okay. So of course people will grieve as they choose to, but when we're trying to grieve, I want to encourage anyone who is out there to always grieve in a healthy and appropriate manner. And sure, tears are always appropriate, as well as anger. That's why anger is a part of the grieving process. And so is depression, okay? So is bargaining. And if you don't understand what bargaining is when it comes to grief, let me tell you what that means. When we say bargaining being a part of grieving, that means you are trying to bargain with God. You're asking him why. Why not me? Why not that person? How could you? Why did you? Why this time? Why not that time? More time. You're trying to bargain with a higher power to have your loved one stay, or to honestly exchange another life for the life that you want to remain. And that's why it's called bargaining, because sometimes when you bargain, more than likely you don't get what you really want. Okay, so we have to understand the importance of grieving. Some people do not grieve at all and they suppress their feelings. Some people self-medicate, or some people go straight into denial and they just pretend as if it has not happened. They do not want to address the issue. Some people do not attend funerals. Some people do not acknowledge the death. They act as if the person never existed. Or some people go into what I have termed as unhealthy and inappropriate grieving, where they become over dramatic with the posting and the saying things that are alarming, as I wish you were still here, and I'd do anything to have you back, and if I could trade places with you, and things like that. And of course it is out of grief, but when it becomes constant and alarming, and it seems as if the person is out of touch with reality, that's when, of course, someone should say something. Because unfortunately, as a therapist who has worked in different areas, I've heard things like this. And of course, you have to be able to tell the person, that's not really beneficial to you to do such things. And wanting to be close to the person even though they're no longer here, we have to be understanding that that's not helping you. You have to get to a place where you can grieve appropriately. So one way you can always continue to grieve and hold on to the memories of your loved one is through photos or videos, or just being around other loved ones where you can share memories and stories, and going through the person's things when you are ready. You shouldn't move too quickly, and of course you shouldn't stay too long. You have to be able to balance that out. Moving too quickly may cause some type of regret. Why did I get rid of that? Why did I throw that away? I wish I would have had more time. So you have to be able to balance things out. There is no time limit on grief. It can last however you feel like you need to grieve, okay? As long as it's appropriate, okay? The stages of grief have no definitive instructions. Do not rush through it. Do not tell anyone that they need to get over it, get past it, hurry up. Do not throw scripture on a person, okay? Until you have walked in a person's shoes, you do not understand what it's like. Sure, I've done many sessions on grief and trauma, and what the suggested recommendation is. But until I stood there and had to say goodbye to a person that I love deeply and dearly, and to feel that pain of knowing and understanding that this is it in the physical, then no, you do not understand until it is you. So be very careful of how you handle and how you speak with a person who is grieving. Some people actually never know what to say, so they don't say anything. And please understand that sometimes people need words of comfort. Some people need encouragement. Some people desire support. And you not doing anything, or you being afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing, could actually be hurting a person more than you saying the wrong thing. So just sometimes you coming by to sit with a person. I know that sounds weird if a person says, just come sit with me, because maybe they don't want to be alone. Maybe they don't want to talk, but maybe they need your presence. And they didn't know that until the actual moment that they experienced a loss. So being empathetic, being understanding, being supportive is something that people do need in a time of loss. So if you don't really truly understand grief, or you never really experienced grief, then please, reach out to someone who can help you with that process. There are many teachings, many workshops, many books, many things out there on grief. You don't necessarily have to go to a class or anything, but if you don't really understand what grief is outside of the biblical teaching of what grief is, because we do understand once you die that, of course, it's understood that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And we do understand that and accept that. But in between time, while we're still here, of course, we feel a great sense of loss and pain and heartache and we need to be able to get through that. And so if it begins to be such a process where you are experiencing such grief, where you are angry beyond recognition, you are depressed beyond 90 days, you know, it's going into a point where you're not going to work, you're in the house, you're not taking care of yourself, then that needs to be addressed, of course, by a therapist, a counselor, or, you know, a clergy member, someone who can help assist you through that process, okay? Never, ever, ever be ashamed if you are experiencing something that you do not understand. It's better to ask for help. It's better to seek help than to just sit there and try to figure out what's going on and not do anything about it, okay? So once again, the 5 stages of grief. There can be anywhere between 5 to 7, 7 to 10, but I really do like the 5. I teach from the 5, the original 5, which is anger, depression, bargaining, denial, and acceptance, okay? You have to cycle through these 5 stages of grief, okay? And this is normal, this is acceptable, and this is typical, okay? And it's not in any typical order, okay? It could be one other order, excuse me. So if you feel like, well, that didn't happen to me, I went straight to this, I never experienced that, it didn't seem like it was this, then that's fine. But typically, this is how it works, and it's okay, okay? A loss is a loss. You know, if you feel that it's okay, don't be angry with yourself. If you've lost someone that you love and you don't understand what's happened with you, ask for help, get support. You're not alone, okay? We all need someone. The best thing to do is to get with someone who understands what's happening, right? So, Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. If you have never been to counseling, if you have never seen a therapist, but you have been experiencing sadness, depression, anxiety, nervousness, sleepless nights, overeating, not eating, you're self-medicating, you're unsure of what's really happening with you, you've met any of these symptoms, or you've noticed a difference in yourself, then please reach out to someone and get you some help. Psychologytoday.com. Simply Google something. You don't have any insurance, then there are programs available that can help you. Just please get the help that you need, okay? If you're not well, please try to get well. The help is out there, okay? So happy July. It is still a happy July, despite the tremendous loss that myself and family have just experienced. God is still good. He is still in the blessing business. I would never not say that. It is still well. So take care of yourself before you take care of anything else. This has been the July edition of Chatting with Chantel. If you want to reach me, my email address is listed, my telephone number is listed, and so is my website. So see you next month in August. Good day.